I'm starting off this project with an empty box that's long enough to cover a little window that I would love to decorate at the top. I'll be making a cornice design, and I'm going to start off by covering some parts of the box with tape. I'm going to leave this part here and cut off the parts that I don't need. I'll cover up the rough edges with tape. As you can see, it already has the shape of a cornice. What I'm going to do now is make a design in the front. The design that I'm making is for the lower bottom, and I'm going to be cutting off the parts that I don't need with a pair of scissors. Now I'm going to be covering this with fabric, but because I can still see the lines of the marker and some lines from the tape, I'm going to be covering it up with batting first, and then covering it with fabric. I'm using a hot glue gun to hold the fabric in place inside. I'm going to decorate the top with silver trims that I got from Walmart. This is what it looks like, and I mounted it on the window. And I used corner braces, attached it to the wall, and just mounted it on top of the corner braces. I left the window the way it is because I have a different DIY for that. This is really pretty, and no one's gonna know that I used an empty box. For the next cornice design, I'm gonna be using a foam board and foam, and I'll be adding the foam boards together and then gluing the foam on the foam board after it has been cut to the measurement that I want. And then I'll be making holes on the foam for the tufting. I cut with small pieces because that's what I'm going to be using by the sides. I'm going to be making my tufting 7 inches apart. This design is for a friend's place and I got short drapery and a longer one as well. I got the short one so I can use it to make the design that's going to be on the cornice, and then the longer ones are going to be inside. I will be displaying this drapery in my home first before I then mount it in her home. I had to cut it into two because it was too wide. And now I'm going to take the second piece and add it up to this other piece to make it long enough for the cornice. What I have here is really wide because her window is wide. So what I'm going to do now is add wood at the back to make sure that when this is mounted on the wall, it doesn't sag. I glue the boards to the board that's at the back and then turn it over and locate it where the holes are, and then use my staple gun to make the tufts. Now I'm going to be adding the pieces by the side and covering them up all with fabric. I already have 2 ways that I would like to have this mounted on the wall. The first method is to use plaques and attaching them to the wood, and these plaques already have hooks to make it easy to be mounted on the wall. Now the second method is to use corner braces, which is a lot easier. Now after having this attached to the wood, I'm going to turn it over and use crystal buttons to hide the staple pins. Like I said before, another method is to use corner braces, and this is so much easier because all you need to do is just have 2 corner braces on 2 sides above the window like I did here, and then just mount the cornice on top and then secure it with the holes that are there with screws. Another interesting design that you can have on top of the window can be to use cutout screen. I've used this design for a lot of my projects in the past, and you can get the screen panel from Home Depot. And then what I did was, after getting the panel, I spray painted it silver and then covered it with Mod Podge and then sprinkled crushed mirror glass over it. The screen is this size because I cut it into two. I'll add wood pieces on both sides of the screen. But first I'm going to be covering the wood pieces with mirror reflective paper. And I covered just the one that will be seen by the side with mirror reflective paper. Because all I have is short cutout pieces, I'm going to be putting the next one up here. This is the top that will be attached to the corner braces, and this is the side. When I was done with this, I simply just mounted it on the corner braces and secured it with screws from the bottom. This is how all three designs look like together, and I love how they all turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have other home decor DIY videos that are linked in the description box below to check them out. And for those of you who have not subscribed to my channel, don't forget to click on the subscribe button.